Hi, and welcome to my attempt at making my own stamp with this Carve-a-Stamp Kit I got in a local shop. I have been a little bit obsessed with stamps lately, so when I saw this, my brain was not really working. I was just like, I want it, I need it, and I got it. And this is what we have inside. We have the stamp mat, ink thingamajig. We have the booklet with instructions and samples and some patterns and ideas. We also have a whole pencil, very complicated tool, some tracing paper that you use to transfer your design and your patterns, design and things, and the carving tools with a handle. The carving bits come separately in different sizes. And this is the mat. This is the rubber mat you'll be carving things on. It's pink on both sides, so in theory you can make twice as many stamps, both sides. And this is the image I've prepared. Now, I have read the booklet with the instructions, and they do very, very specifically tell you not to go for something with lots of detail and small bits. Go for something very simple, especially for your first one. As you get better control and more familiar with the tools, you can go into more detail, but don't start with something like this, like the image I'm starting with, because I'm smart, okay? And I'm very confident in my carving abilities, where I've never really carved anything before. I don't think I even carved the pumpkin properly. I mean, no, I think I stabbed 2 triangular eyes. No, I did carve a pumpkin once, a whole bunch of years ago, like 2 years ago. Another pro tip from a professional such as myself: do not use your iPad as a light box, especially your drawing program with gestures. I'm using Procreate because this is the only app on my iPad that lets me resize things. I mean, there's probably a Lightbox app somewhere that I could have used that I'm now thinking that I should have, because it was very, very annoying and painstaking, and I just fast forwarded over it. But it took me the longest time to transfer the image over. And I still forgot some lines, so I am going over them a little bit now. And you can't really see what I'm doing, so let's zoom in a little bit to show my amazing artwork. At least somewhere. Show it off, because it won't really show through on the stamp, because spoiler alert. Yes, anyway, wobbly lines, not a problem. I've decided to go over my wobbly lines a little bit to make them thicker and juicier and easier to transfer over. I was worried that they were going to be very hard to see on the stamp mat, on the rubbery pink thing itself. Even though I've not tested it, I've not tried it, I just assumed that I just better make the lines thicker, because why not? Such an amazing drawing as this deserves thicker, bigger, juicier outlines, right? So while I'm going over the lines, let's talk about why would anyone want to carve their own stamp and get a whole kit when you could use a potato, right? That's what my childhood craft books said. Use a potato to make stamps. I don't think I even carved a potato that way. I remember seeing the pictures and the directions for it, and I would always think that, why would you make your own stamp? Like, if you're trying to make pretty gift paper, you're better off just getting good-looking gift paper than having poopy gift paper covered in potato juice, right? So I never made those as a kid, but then in the UK, I saw 2 turtle stamps in one of the fair craft place where people sell stuff. So I got them, and they don't work that well, but I really liked the idea. For some reason I thought I could put those stamps in my bullet journal. I might not have had my bullet journal yet, but when I had my bullet journal. That was one of the things I tried doing, and the stamps don't really work that well at all. So years later, I ordered some alphabet stamps to make titles with for my next journal if I ever make that video. Anyway, here the lines are more or less ready and prepared for the mat that doesn't really want to come out, but it came out in the end. That's fine. Now the scary bit. Now the way when you just flip over the paper, it's already mirrored. So it took a while for my brain to register that, because I first thought that maybe I should mirror the image before transferring it over. So if you're 3D printing your own stamp, you need to mirror it, because it prints it as is, and then it's going to be mirrored when you stamp it, when you use it. But with this technique, no 3D printer, I don't need all that trouble. I can just go straight with it. And the booklet said you need to use the butt of the handle to help you transfer it over, and it made a very unpleasant sound, and it was generally a very unpleasant sensation, because the tracing paper is not the smoothest thing, that handle was not the smoothest thing, and I guess I could have just used fingers or maybe something else that didn't make that horrible sound, but you know, I was following the instructions, just like when they said not to do something complicated with lots of small details. I can read. Anyway, since the image isn't all that difficult, I could just fix the broken lines, especially I can kind of see where things go. So that wasn't too bad. And all those tiny little details, like the inside of the ears and the little bags, the little line under the eye, the little line over the eye, all of that is going to be perfectly fine, right? The hair thin lines of the stalks of the leaves, and the legs and the little toes, all of that is so much thought was put into this whole project, right? This is me just opening the bag with all of the blades. There are 4 blades, I think 4 blades in a knife, or 3 blades in a knife. You can see the knife, it's the middle blade out of the 3 going downwards. And I'm now looking at the booklet, seeing how you're supposed to insert the blade into the handle, trying to figure out which blade is the smallest one, because they're not marked, okay? They're just smooth surface handle. They could have given them numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. No. They probably don't have those stamps with numbers where they were making them. I don't know. Checking the instructions to see if they actually tell you how to insert the blade into the handle, because I didn't want to brute force it, which was my first instinct. But no, they just tell you insert it in. There's not an image, nothing. I guess they, whoever wrote the instructions, they were just figuring that the end user was intelligent enough to do it right and stick it in the right end, right? There is a little stick that you're supposed to push that goes inside that helps you push the blade out, that I really didn't need to use because the blade itself is pretty wobbly. A big mistake. Look at that. Yeah, test it out. Test it on the outside first. I don't even know how to hold this. I'm all so confident, just cutting in straight away without testing it. Like, this is fine. This is gonna be fine. This is going to be a beautiful stamp. Now, while I'm stressing out, watching myself commit all those carving crimes over here, the size I ended up going, too big, obviously, right? Not comfortable, just covering all of that big surface with the ink and stamping it over. Not my brightest moment. Another thing is that I would generally want 2 different colors, one for the body and one for the tail. So in order to do that, they should be different stamps, at least 2 different stamps, like the body and the tail. Better still, have all of the leaves as a separate stamp so that I could maybe even adjust them depending on where I am putting the stamp on. All of those very smart thoughts came to me later. As I'm carving, I am totally confident in this being a huge, massive fail, because I can already feel that the smallest blade is still not small enough for the details I'm trying to do. Now, fair enough, they did warn me, do not go for very detailed, small, tiny things. Bad, especially for your first stamp. But you know, maybe I already made 6 stamps. Maybe I'm super experienced. Where is my tiny cutting blade tool now? At some point I tried using the knife blade they have there that you're supposed to use to cut it out. Like, you see, I didn't even cut it out in a proper rectangle. I was like, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna save space. Those are 2 whole stamps right there. The knife is absolutely terrible. The knife blade was extremely uncomfortable, and just cutting with it was very stressful. It came out in tiny chunks. I spent like half an hour looking for my old paper knife I had somewhere. I couldn't find it. I don't know where it went. I should probably be worried. I have small children. There's a knife running in the wild amok somewhere. Anyway, yes, really struggling with those tiny bits, like the inside of the ears, the single lines that define the expression of the whole thing. That back eye, is back eye a thing? Eye in the back, further eye, in the that eye, okay, the left eye of the little Ridley Scott. Wasn't even sure what I was thinking. You can't carve things that small. It's just gonna look like a massive forehead pimple or something. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And not the worst thing about this attempt, right? Oh, I go off cam. Come on. There we go. There we go. Trying to stay in the center of the screen with the camera was a whole different bag of blades, apples. I give up. I give up. I was so stressed with the blades at this point. I did try carving with just the blade without using the handle at some point. Was even worse, just not enough grip and slippery, sweaty hands and all that. The handle is very important, and this one was so wobbly. I'm feeling stressed just watching this. The blade, it wasn't just wobbly, it kept falling out. Okay, now you see this little stick that's, well, you can't see it right now, but the little stick that was coming out of the butt, that's supposed to make the blade come out. And this is the final result. Yeah, I have somehow managed it. And there's all those rubbery bits that we're just gonna move off screen. This is fine. This is fine. Now, let's test out my masterpiece. Opening the ink pad, which is nice and big and red, almost the fitting color, almost the color I need. And I'm just gonna have it one solid color. Why not? Because it's one stamp, and I don't have green. This is okay. And yes, swallowing my disappointment over here. This is fine. I just need to put the ink on better. This, yes. I feel extremely disappointed right now. I'm just madness, right? The definition of madness is repeating the action, hoping that it's going to have a different outcome. This is madness you're watching right now. It's fine. Then maybe a different page is going to do better. This is where I see all of the mistakes I did with the carving. See that all of the tummy area looks broken and weird. The leaves are hurting my eyes. Yeah, it's much rougher than I intended it to be. And this is me showing off the alphabet stamps I was talking about earlier, because I ordered some. Did I mention them before? Yes, right after the turtle, like 2, 3, 4 years after I got the turtle stamps, I ordered myself some alphabet stamps. And this is a massive fail. Big epic fail, even. Well, not really that epic. It's kind of pathetic, really. But did I give up? No, I did not. I did the whole thing again off camera. I used the other side of the stamp that I cut out. All of the same bits fit, same way, because it was still too big. And I kept testing it as I was carving. Also, turtle stamps. So I could see which lines needed to be deeper, which lines were necessary or not. So let's see there on screen, doing the design. Again, two different things, red and blue. Pressing it, it feels a bit dry, this ink pad. Not the juiciest one, so it requires quite a lot of force. And this doesn't look as bad as the other one. Yay! Now for the tail feathers, leaves. This blue one that I've used a bunch of times. But this gives me slightly more control over where the leaves are, having them all cut out separately. And yeah, and I can do them in different colors. All the colors of the rainbow, as long as the rainbow has 3 colors for the leaves. Works fine. It's a lot juicier than the red one, so the ink isn't all that even on the thing. See, they're a bit splotches, but it's the aesthetic. It's the look. It's the messy amateur nightmare, stamp of your nightmare look thing kind of going on. See, this is fine. It's better than the other one, and it's even if it kind of looks the same to you guys, this was much easier to do than the very big one. Let's see. This is my very first attempt with the splodges, and this is the yay attempt. See, and those are the testing ones as I was cutting them, plus the turtles. Anyway, so would I recommend this kit for someone that likes pain and is immune to stress? Sure. If you don't mind wobbly blades, if you don't mind this horrible wobbly handle, that this one might be the odd one out. I might have gotten the worst handle of them all, but it was terrible. The blades, there are so many of them. I only used 2, and the knife. The knife is also horrible. The smallest blade isn't small enough. Ink pad, not very juicy, not as juicy as the blue one I had myself. The pencil and the tracing paper worked beautifully. Amazing pencil, amazing. And this was also pretty good. It was easy to cut, nice and soft. The different colors helped. Where you get to white, you stop. You don't need to dig any deeper. And you didn't even need to dig much deeper than that either. So other than the horrible handle and blades, pretty good kit. And I'm happy, or just mostly relieved, that this thing is over. And I can stamp this somewhere, maybe. Ta-da! Thank you for watching.